Well, I do feel as if I'm back home. I was the Assembly member for Mid Ulster from 1982 to 1986, so I'm quite familiar with this part of Tyrone. Well, when I was about 10 or 11 years of age, I was born in Alderstown. We moved down the Falls, but of course it was an area that was probably 99% Catholic. I remember asking my father one time, when I was about 10 or 11, Daddy, what's a Protestant? And I don't know whether he was being flippant or not, but he said Protestants are people who get divorced and use contraceptives. And my next question, of course, was, what's contraceptive? And that was the end of that debate. But I grew up in West Belfast with those attitudes, feeling oppressed, especially by the police. And I followed the civil rights movement and took part in several people's democracy marches. And I was a pacifist, but as a result of what I witnessed in my street amongst my neighbours, I ceased to be a pacifist and I became involved in the struggle. I went to jail several times. On the fourth time that I was in jail, serving an 8-year sentence, the IRA called the ceasefire in August 1994. And I had privately been of the opinion for about 2 years previous that there was a military stalemate. And if there was a military stalemate, there was actually a moral responsibility on the Republican leadership to end the conflict. And so I was glad when the ceasefire was called. I went back to my cell and I broke down in tears and I wept for every single person who had lost their lives and for those who had suffered during the conflict. But I was also full of contradictions, because the next day when Ken McGuinness, the MP for Fermanagh South Tyrone, said it has to be permanent, they have to say it's permanent. And then John Major turned around and said they have to go through a period of decontamination. And my friends and I, my comrades in jail, were saying they don't want peace. They don't want peace. Break the ceasefire. So that was the contradiction you were going through. Now, I also knew that in ceasefire, you could only win at the negotiating table what you'd actually won on the field. And at that stage, of course, the SDLP was the party that more largely represented the nationalist community than those who voted for Sinn Féin. So whatever deal was going to be eventually agreed upon in the Good Friday Agreement, it was going to be circumscribed more by the SDLP and by the Irish government than by Republican arguments and Republican demands. And thus, of course, the prisoners weren't released for 2 years, whereas they could have been released if the Republicans had been stronger in a much shorter period of time. And although the release of the prisoners was a cause of offence to many unionists who had suffered, people never considered that we never experienced that degree of suffering and anger, because the people who killed our loved ones never went to jail in the first place. Although, as a result of legacy in the current situation, you can see the possibility and the impossibility of that actually coming to fruition. So along the way, I understood that there would be compromise, and in order to support reconciliation and to put out the hand of friendship, I agreed with a lot of things that would have stuck in my throat when I was a fundamentalist Republican. Majority of people in the jail went along with the peace process and agreed with the process as it developed along the way. Some of my comrades did not agree with the peace process, and some of them became political dissident Republicans, and another tiny minority supported the continuation of conflict and armed struggle. But I understood that we would have to have an assembly in the north, and that meant going into the hated Stormont, which had been the symbol of my second-class citizenship and my parents and my grandparents. And I also supported the amendments of Articles 2 and 3, the southern claim of jurisdiction over the north, which unionists cited as being offensive to them. And so there was all of these moves down the years, and in some cases they worked, in some cases they didn't. When I was in jail in the autumn of 1994, suddenly arose this constituency, which really, I don't believe any of the protagonists to the conflict had truly and properly considered, and that was the victims and the families who had been suffering in silence. And it was when the conflict stopped that their voices became louder and louder. And of course, people have been fighting from different sides for different things. Some on the unionist side want to know who directed the IRA, who sent people out. They want these people named, they want these people arrested, they want these people to go to jail. Some on our side, of course, if you look at the Bloody Sunday families, majority of Bloody Sunday families are seemingly content that the British Prime Minister admitted that their loved ones were innocent. Some of them want prosecutions, some of them want the paratroopers who have been charged to go to jail.